Hello and welcome to the Learning Luminaries, the show where every episode I meet with an inspiring innovator who's changing the world by following their own inner light. This week's guest is named Sunny Grigorova, and she is the leader of the Charlotte Women's Circle, a retreat facilitator, and she's an all-around divine feminine goddess. She's been studying tantra and yoga, different arts like that, for a really long time, and has created this sacred space where women are able to feel empowered and free to be themselves. The first time I met her was at the Big Love Yoga Barn, which is where we held the interview, where she was holding this women's circle that has taught me so many different things about connecting to my own sensuality, embodying the divine feminine, having healthy boundaries, healthy conversations with lovers and loved ones, and all that sort of stuff. So in this episode, we dive into what it means to embody the divine feminine and how to run your own women's circle. So come on and let's get started. So our episode today is going to be like a mini women's circle. We're going to be sharing, we're going to be moving our bodies, and fearless leader, can you get it kicked off for us?
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm just super excited to be with you. You are such a shining, bright star, just like the women that come to our circles. And one of the most important things we do before we even start discussion and everything else is actually getting out of our busy heads and into the wisdom of the body. So there we go. We invite you to move with us just for a bit. So get off your chair, or if you're walking or moving in some way, just move your body a little bit, however it feels good. Inhaling, exhaling, and we also invite the senses. So just look at something that looks beautiful if you're listening, or just look at us and see your own beauty, because it's all about reflection. Hear the sounds around you. Maybe touch your hair, feel the breeze in your face if you're outside, or just caress for a moment. There we go. Maybe you're tasting something that you just had a bite of, or have a sip of water or any kind of drink. Just engaging the senses. The breath is very important, so we breathe every time. Inhale, reach up.
One of the most potent things that you taught me was arrive in your body.
Yes.
Come into this space and feel yourself landing into your strength and just thanking your body for carrying you all of these wonderful places.
Yeah, because often and sometimes we're like, the body's here, but then the mind is somewhere else.
Everywhere.
So whatever you're doing, just give yourself a little bit of time to be with us fully, and you will receive everything.
Welcome to this moment of presence.
Yeah,
let's kick it off. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me, Sunny. I am super excited to get to talk to you more about your work and how you got into leading women's circles and things like that. The transformations that we experience, the community that we experience during these circles in Charlotte are unlike anything I've ever experienced before, where it's this, like, all of these different women who are so diverse, who are so different. We have like genius, brilliant women, and we have like all different kinds of people with all different sorts of backgrounds and stories who come, and they all talk and share, and we just love each other in a way that allows one another to really feel vulnerable and safe all at the same time. And it's just really beautiful the way that you're able to hold that space. And so I'm just excited to get to talk about how do we do that? Why is it important? And all that sort of stuff. So I guess my first question that I have for you is, how did you get into leading women's circles?
Yes. Well, guess what? I was just looking for a support. I was looking and have been wanting for the longest time to just have that space where I can be truly myself, feel safe and supported. And I remember when I started my yoga practice and teaching over 15 years ago. So, that was great. It nourished my body, it nourished mind, body, soul. And I had a lot of friends, but I still didn't feel the real closeness and safety. Then I remember having amazing neighbors. You know, we raised our kids together, and you know, I will have total trust in them that my son is safe and everything is good. And we'll have fun times like bunko nights and stuff like that. But still, I remember not really, like, truly opening my heart and my soul, because we women thrive on that. And I just said, you know, I need to create this space. And I've started women's circles and things deeper, and especially when I got a little bit more into the tantric studies, you know, that was, and then I was just like, let's create it. And of course we had this beautiful, eclectic, fun space, the barn. We'll show you some pics later. And it was just something that I started of the pure desire to give to the community and receive back.
That's so beautiful. I'm wondering, for people who want to pursue deeper education on connecting with themselves, sometimes it's really hard to figure out like where to go and what to study. So what did your process of what kind of learning more about facilitating and holding space and what it means to be like an empowered woman, like where did you find those resources?
You know, a lot of it is from teaching yoga for 15 years. So after I started, and at that point I had my corporate job, so my yoga class every Saturday was like my love job, my passion, my baby, you know. And then when I quit my corporate job, I started teaching a lot of corporate wellness and things like that. So that was facilitating bigger groups. One of my biggest was 300 people, a keynote speaker at Teachers Association. So the schools, I was teaching at the schools at that time for the facilitators and the teachers, and it just, that builds experience. And then, you know, as women, we are always want to be overly prepared and
Totally.
overly you know, educated and stuff like that, but you just dive in. And I think the oh, I'm getting goosebumps, the biggest power of the feminine is vulnerability. So you really show up as you are. That's the premise of the women's circle. So as the lead, you know, I had the responsibility to hold the space, but I really was my biggest desire, show up as you are, be an example of what you want every woman to be. So I just showed up, and you know, in the beginning it was trial and error as far as you know, time of the circle. We tried the full moon, new moon, then the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then different things, and eventually I discovered that it's a commitment, but doing it once a week provided this continuous container.
Yeah. Because you're like moving people through a meditation and then integration. So I think that this is a good moment to talk about what happens inside of a women's circle.
Yeah.
So they're all a little bit different, and sometimes the organizational flow changes, but do you have a general formula for the way that you run them?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. So it seems sometimes different, but there is a skeleton structure. And the first thing is kind of get people in, like you said, in your body, and then bring your mind in, because sometimes you're running, you've been busy all day, everything is happening. So a little bit of movement and breath to get everybody in. Then, you know, we do a little bit of the logistics, like general what's happening. Then the next step is to introduce the women.
Yes, this is one of my favorite parts of the circle.
Yes, okay. So let's introduce each other.
Yeah, this is Goddess Sunny.
And I will say, my name is Sunny, and I will open my arms, and then the other women, what do you do?
Welcome, Goddess Sunny!
Yes.
Yes.
So they beam me, and I receive, and the same, let's do
I would
it.
say my name is Wysteria.
welcome, Goddess Wysteria.
And it just feels so good because you're sitting in this circle and it's all these beautiful, powerful people just sending you love and energy. It's so good. So welcome.
Yes, welcome you guys. Welcome. So yeah, we want to introduce, and also I always have a question. So briefly, related to the topic that we're discussing that evening. So briefly, we introduce ourselves and then we answer we either give a feeling statement or just what is my feeling. We try to go with feeling, not what you're thinking, but rather full body talk. Just feel in your body and say how it is. So that's briefly. Once we finish and everybody has been invited in the circle, I usually do a little bit more of the talking, of setting the whole topic and everything for the evening. And then we do our physical part, which is breath, movement, somatic movement,
dancing, like kind of impact stuff. Sometimes like we'll lift our hips and we'll drop them, and that one's very powerful, very activating. Things that really get you to connect like your heart and your mind all together. And I love when we do partner work where we'll mirror each other or we'll dance with one another, or you taught us a method of conflict resolution in relationships that was super powerful, which is where one person would sit and in a receptive position, and then the other person would sit with their hands on their heart, and the person with the hand on their heart would share whatever it was that they needed to feel heard on, and then the person who was receptive would mirror back to them without adding anything or without any opinion or interjection or advice or anything like that, just what they had heard. And then the person who was telling the story would have some time afterwards to elaborate on anything if they felt like they wanted to just clarify the energy, and then you would switch. So you're looking into each other's eyes, you're putting your hand on your heart, you're receiving, and you're, instead of like feeling that pressure to give advice or hold space in a certain way, like it was really powerful to learn that a method of holding space is just mirroring back exactly what they said, telling somebody, I listen, I see you, I hear you.
Yeah. And the biggest power of this is we are not really solving each other's problems, because I work with people on one-on-one, and as a coach, you know, your job is not for the person to tell you their problem and you say, okay, do this. Instead, we create for each other the space and the energy to be able, that deepest wisdom that is coming and only you know the solution, to come out.
Yeah.
And when we create the space of listening, you just by talking, you're hearing yourself and you're like, oh, that.
Yeah. I think something really empowering about women's circles is that it gives us permission to stop looking for permission. Because so often as women we're like, is this right? Is this okay? Does this look good? Does this feel good? Is this okay with you? But when you're in that space, like, you know what you need. You know what you want. You know the right thing to do deep down in your bones. And it's just learning about how to give yourself the permission to trust that knowing.
Absolutely. Yes. And you know, we have been rotating recently. We go through different topics and different series, and our recent ones are rotating several different topics that help us get permission throughout. So the first one is Goddess Body Love. So try it with us. Just kind of go for it. And as cheesy or as uncomfortable as it seems, just kind of go. Because for us women, loving our bodies, accepting our bodies is just a must. Nothing comes out of all the stuff that has been put on us regarding our bodies, okay? Yeah.
When we did that one, it was really fun because the first time that we did that, it was a gentle touch practice where you are like touching your arm and touching your legs and your stomach and everything as softly as you possibly can. And in doing that, I gained a new love for my body hair. Like I stopped shaving a long time ago just because it's silly, you know? Like, sometimes it's aesthetic and I love that, and there will be moments where I'm like, I am the sleekest cat in the whole world.
Yes.
But in a day-to-day life, right, in the fall, in the winter, like, I want to just be able to be natural and not feel like, oh, I shouldn't be this way, or I shouldn't have this. And so when we were just like touching, and I could feel how soft my leg hair was, and how it just is like this cute fuzzy little blanket around me. It was so great.
Yes, we do talk about hair in all places.
Yeah.
And everything in between. So definitely, and little things. The way we dance. One of the topics that we'll discuss tonight is all about the feminine actually absolutely innately needing for her health and well-being to be seen. So how important it is to love our bodies, to allow ourselves to be seen, because we come up with all kinds of excuses, from the hair to whatever imperfection that we have, that oftentimes, talking about men, they don't see at all. They see your radiance, they see your confidence, they see the love for your body you have, versus some kind of mini details that only you see.
Yeah, that you're like putting your... I had this breakthrough the other day where I realized that there was no specific, like, sacred, powerful version of myself I had to become or had to step into. I just had to release the judgment and the shame and the, like, control over who I am on the inside, and just let myself do my thing, like, without being like, oh, will this person like it? Will this person like it? Like, is this good enough? And just learning that, like, really understanding that I don't have to pick myself apart, that I'm not benefiting anybody, I'm not showing up better for my community by doing that, changed my life, because I've been having a lot of, like, health problems and stuff related to my kidneys, and I've been studying the way that, like, the body holds on to different things, and I learned that your kidneys hold on to, like, your negative self-talk. They hold on to fear. And so I literally had a kidney infection because of, like, how much I was critical of myself, how scared I was to just be myself. And so getting to release all of that, getting to learn about that, and understand that, like, I have the power to change my mindset. I have the power to change the way that I look at myself. I have the power to shift my habits. I don't have to, like, do these things that I saw modeled for me by other women or by myself that I developed in order to, like, create safety, even though it was really just keeping me in a box. And so it's been really liberating to be in this container.
Yeah. Because, like Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I also struggled with some parts of like not loving for the longest time, and then I just truly, it's a mind set that I changed, and now I'm like, oh, I absolutely love. So that is absolutely amazing. And what you said, those layers. Actually, at our retreat, we're going to do 2 practices. One is the dance of the 7 layers. So we'll be removing 7
That's so
layers
cool.
and we engage in those practices everything.
Yeah.
So actually, will be a secret. We'll be covering ourselves with 7 layers, and then one by one we'll dance and release them.
Wow.
So we are engaging body, mind, spirit, and everything to affect new pathways in our brain and thinking.
That makes me think about the goddess Inanna, or Ishtar, her journey into the underworld, how, like, she went through 7 trials and she started wearing, like, a crown. She was a queen, right? And she goes into the underworld to, I believe, save her sister in the legend. And so as she emerges, like, she has to remove part of her until she gets to the very, like, center where her sister is, and then she's just, like, raw and naked and vulnerable, and then she has to, like, and then through that she reemerges as this, like, embodied, powerful queen of the underworld in a way where she's not afraid to change, she's not afraid to let go. I really believe that the power of the divine feminine is the steward of life, death, and rebirth. Like, nobody understands the process of life and of dying and of holding space for that better than women, because of the way that we've been called upon by our communities to hold that space for centuries. And so it's incredible that we have that innate ability to let go. And it's so powerful that there's this awakening of the divine feminine where we're understanding just how powerful it is to release, right? To walk away from that relationship, to like change your relationship to your job, to do all of those things that we are almost like programmed to hold on to because we're like, I want safety, but like the safety comes from inside of you. And if you're thinking that you're holding on to like an external safety source, you probably, I can say from experience and from witnessing it in other women that like by moving yourself out of a position where you're holding on to it because of fear, you will be so liberated and so rewarded by making that leap and taking that step to lean into your own power and to trust what's good for you and to release the thing that you're scared of letting go of.
Yeah, and everything outside of you is not in your control.
Yeah.
You can only control yourself. You cannot change anybody. You can only change yourself. But the beauty of this is when you change, all around you changes. The world, what comes to you, the people. So we have one of our young goddesses, and she was like, I lost this friend and I lost that friend. And I said, yeah, because you are elevating yourself and they don't match your vibration anymore.
I've also realized that there's like an initiation period when you're changing your consciousness. Like when you're stepping into something new, when you're embracing when you're releasing one of those layers and embodying the next chapter of yourself, there's like a 3-week period where all of your insecurities, all of your fear, all of the things that you've ever done wrong come back up so that you can understand them and so you can integrate them. And I think that a lot of people get scared when that process happens because they're like, why is everything? Yeah. But it's an invitation to say, okay, like to invite curiosity into that space and say, what can I learn from that experience and how have I changed and how have I grown and where do I go from here? And it's really beautiful to be able to know that when you're having that tower moment, right, in tarot, it's like this big catastrophe where things that weren't meant to stay in your life end up leaving, that you're actually, the next step after that is the star, which is hope. It's divine blessings. It's joy, it's freedom, it's liberation. And then after that is temperance, which is patience, it's love, it's healing. And so it literally is like this, after that cataclysmic moment where you have to let go, after that, in the rubble, you find this gem. And that gem is literally who you are and what you've become and what you're capable of and who you've always known yourself to be that other people maybe just weren't in alignment with for you to be able to express. Because people want to hold on to the things that like, they want to hold on to the reflection of you that makes them comfortable.
Yeah.
Because if you're growing and you're evolving, you're challenging them to grow and evolve too, which sometimes people don't want to do. And like you said, you can't control that.
Big time. This is so important. You challenge them. When you're growing, you challenge them and they want to stop that because they don't like the challenge.
Yeah.
Unless they're ready.
And that's how you know they're a good friend.
Yes. And the beauty of the circle also is that we support each other through this transition. So you come back and you fall in and we got you. And that's why like this weekly offering is so critical because you know when you get scared, when you're like, oh no, I cannot do this, we're like, yes you can. And the support is there. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps again.
Yeah.
So.
It's beautiful too because like I said, everybody is so different, and I don't know how long our sessions are because time just stops when we're in them.
Yes,
but
and we try hour and a half. They often go a little longer.
It's because we love each other.
Yes.
But we don't know, like, I don't know everybody's intimate details of their life, right? Like, I don't need to know the little tiny stories of the women sitting around me to love them and to see how powerful they are and to believe wholeheartedly in the transformation that they're going through, which is great because I have made awesome friendships that I keep outside of the circle where I am getting to know these people. But it's also like the people who I don't get the chance to interact with. It's not like, oh, I don't know you, so like I feel disconnected from this. It's like, I don't know you, and yet I see the essence, right? Like, welcome, goddess. Like, that's That's the essence of it. It's so powerful.
Because we have all these stories, and it's exactly what you said. It's the essence of the person. And in those retreats that we are having, and in Bali, this was like my huge realization when I was there, the training, is for the first time, well, not for the first time, but like I got an intense experience of like seeing every woman. So it was 44 of us, so obviously you don't get to know them in any kind of depth, but you see the beauty in them, you see the real beauty in them. And when the feminine is in such container, we all have that, we all blossom in the most divine way, and we are able to give and receive, maybe for the first time so many people experience unconditional love. Because we are absolutely capable. It's like our innate nature.
So after we do the movement practice, what happens after that?
Yes. And then we basically have our closing sharing container, where now you have been in your body, you have experienced, because oftentimes, and I did it for a long time, and now I'm realizing a reverse effect is very powerful as well. We say the body and the mind are connected, and when I change my thoughts, I change my body, and the whole experience. Well, often we overthink things. We try very hard. Now I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna affect it, I'm gonna manifest it. But it's really the body practices and the body's wisdom that oftentimes your mind actually needs to catch up to your new body. This is what I realized after Bali, after being 21 days there, and from morning to evening, practice.
And that was a women's retreat.
That was the Goddess Essence teacher training. So deep dive.
Goals.
I know. We're going there. We'll talk about it, but we have 2 retreats coming. One is in Bali. So after that, I was like, well, I'm a new woman. I know this. And then I realized it was actually my body being renewed and rejuvenated and reset, and my mind was trying to catch up to this new body.
Yeah.
So both of them, we are working on the whole system.
Wow.
In the circles. That's why they are so powerful. That's why the transformation and the glow and the absolutely good news that you shared with me.
Oh, that's so exciting. So tell me a little bit more about women's retreats. I think that's something that's starting to become really popular, where people are going to certain destinations and they're having experiences. For people who have never been, never heard about it, what happens, why should they go?
Yeah, so both are important. Our daily work, our weekly circles, and the retreats. Because in the retreat, you have this like jump experience.
Yeah, it's like a quantum leap.
Quantum leap is the word, exactly is the expression. So that's why if you haven't gifted yourself a retreat, I mean, this is a must. This is something where you are like, wow.
All the hard work that you've been doing, all of the thoughts that you've had that you're like, in this process of transformation, everything that you've healed through as things have come up and that you've really embraced that process is celebrated, it's honored, and you're recognized for that experience, and then you also are empowered to fully let go of all of those attachments that you had to like this other version of yourself, or to the other experiences that you've had.
Yeah, it's a deep dive. Like if in the circles we do like a smaller continuous work, in the retreats we do a deep dive into those practices, and it truly changes the neurophysics and just your mind and the body. I mean, changes do happen I wish we could measure. But actually, Morgan and I, just another goddess that is helping me in this retreat that is coming up in Asheville, we practiced one of the practices we are going to do, and then we took a picture of us, and I will show you, we have a glow.
Yeah.
I mean, actual aura is seen.
Yeah.
And I have one picture that we thought it was just smudgy on the previous retreat when we did in Asheville.
Yeah.
And we have our aura, we have a glow around us.
So beautiful.
So this is not woo-woo, people.
Yeah.
This is real stuff, because you are physical body, energetic body, spiritual body. If you're watching this podcast, you are part of the tribe, so I know you get these things.
It's true. Something that was really beautiful, I'm going to our upcoming retreat because of some really beautiful acts of generosity from some of the other women in the circle, which was, thank you, Mindy, I love you. But also, one of the things that helped me take this step into actually going to this retreat was every time I would leave the circle, I would call my partner. And he's great. He's spiritual. We're in like this, we are spending a lot of time in different areas right now and stuff like that, but I was like, I don't know if I should go to this retreat or not. Like, I don't know if I can invest in myself like that. And he just said, no. The way that you glow after every single one of these retreats is priceless. It's something that I could never give to you. The money is like irrelevant. When you invest in your wellness, it will come back to you tenfold. And the way that these women light you up, the way that it heals your mind, body, and soul is something that like I know and want for you. And he really encouraged me to go and to go on this retreat and to invest in myself in a way that I needed that little extra nudge. So it's definitely like people see it. People see the change. They feel how liberating. When you're around a liberated woman, you become liberated yourself.
Yeah.
It's like permission. It's permission to express. And one of the things that I learned about myself through the circles is that I've always been really comfortable being loud and weird and like being active. And so we'll do certain things, and when the energy gets really big in the circle, like I'll start laughing, I'll giggle, I'll like dance, like I put everything into it. It's so fun. And there have been people who after the circle will come up to me and they'll be like, you laughing, you just like giving it your all gave me the permission to do that too. And so it's great to be able to have this space where it's like all the like quirky things that you did as a kid that maybe people were like, why are you doing that, are celebrated, because it's your joy, it's your inner child, it's your pure divine essence just getting to play and have fun and jump around and wiggle. It's great.
It is each woman's uniqueness.
Yeah.
And when we allow those little quirky, weird, we call them things, show up, people love us.
Yeah.
And talking about men, kudos to you guys, and all the men, first being able to see, second being able to handle.
Yeah.
Because a lot of men, you start changing, you start glowing, they want to tame it down, but also like realizing how important it is for you to invest in yourself, because we the feminine, we must recharge. We are the holders of the energy. They literally plug in us to draw energy. So when we don't recharge ourselves, when we don't do those things, when we don't get together with other women, because when we are together as women, we like the energy emphasizes.
Totally.
We need to on a regular basis recharge ourselves, and they draw from us. So all the smart men, they just see this and they're like, yeah,
go do that, you need that.
The not smart man will probably stop you. So
see it as a threat,
Yes.
because it's like, because then it brings up their own insecurity, right? And so I think that there's something really cool to be said about like what it means to be like a conscious man, right? Like I think that that's the balance to a goddess. Like a goddess is a conscious embodied woman who like feels her feelings and all those things. And I feel like a conscious man is somebody who's like very aware of their actions and like the reactions to them, and who uses all of that power to create a protective and loving container for vulnerability to be shown. I heard this thing the other day that was like, men are looking for an emotional sanctuary because they feel so alone. And so when you have like an activated, like spiritually awoken man, like he is somebody who understands that like in order to have an emotional sanctuary, you have to maintain that level of trust and that level of reciprocity and respect and honor for their bodies, for their minds, and for like the bodies and minds of everybody around them.
Yeah.
It's juicy stuff.
Juicy stuff. And talk about that, so we said we have the body, goddess body love, then we have the heart opening, because for the woman, it starts through the heart, then goes down.
Yeah.
Then we have the goddess sensual awakening. Okay, let's do a sensual move to break things. So whoever is watching, just join us for a moment. Oh, yeah, the clothing falls down, it's like, yes. But goddess sensual awakening, because for them, it starts from here and grows up.
Yeah.
And then our last module is relationships, goddess relationships bliss, and we just talk about how men and women relate, how to attract, how to become that woman that is just glowing,
Magnetic.
Yeah. And one thing I heard lately that was like incredible for relationships, so quick advice for you all. So there are four. Yes.
Like, let me in. I need to know.
Okay. Pay attention. Juicy tip. There are 4 types of women.
Okay.
So the first one is the simple woman. She's trying to hold her guy on the neck, controlling him. Okay. The other one is kind of the woman. She's holding onto his genitals. She's trying all the chicks, but not coming from the outside, but rather,
Yeah.
Yeah. Then is the third woman. So she is the partner and the friend. She holds him by his hand. She's a smart woman. And then is the goddess. What do you think? Okay, I'll give you the answer.
I'm like, tell me more.
She's like, okay, don't put me on the spot. What do you think? I do have the answer. But if you were to say right now, what does the goddess do?
The embodied goddess is confident with herself. She is magnetic in a way because she knows what it is that she has. And she embraces her uniqueness in this way that makes her like one of a kind, right? Because we all are. And the goddess is confident, she's sensual, she's connective, she's compassionate, she's patient, she doesn't take things personally, and she also isn't super overly attached to a certain outcome because she knows that like she's the magnet, right? Like whatever she needs.
I knew you will know the answer.
Whatever she needs is going to be created in her life, like because she becomes it. The goddess is the embodiment of her own interpretation of inner peace because she feels it from the inside and then it's magnetized outside through the world. I would love to hear your definition as well.
So basically the goddess doesn't hold him anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he's dying to be with her.
Yeah. She's
pulling him in without doing anything particular, without holding him. No, there is no holding. He's the one that wants to be with her.
Yeah.
She's just allowing total freedom, because very important thing for the masculine is to show them that you let them go. You allow
You're free
them.
to do your thing.
You are free to do your thing. And when you do that, they just want to be with you.
Yeah. I've had a really big journey in myself of shifting from, I think I was like the friend archetype in a lot of ways. I've definitely been like the controlling one. Like maybe not actively in my relationships, but in my inside of my mind, I had to like struggle against that desire to like hold on to a partner and to like have that level of control because I was so insecure. And so for me, the journey of shifting, and now I practice that kind of detachment with my partner all the time. I'm like, you can leave me on red, you cannot respond to me for like, go, do whatever it is that you need to do. I'm good. I'm over here like working on my business. I'm over here hanging out with my friends. I'm like doing breath work and having a great time. And obviously I love being with him. I love spending time with him. I love embracing that part of the journey, but it's not like, it isn't the thing that keeps me safe. It's not the thing that defines me. It's not the thing that like drives me. It's the thing that it's like a reward almost.
Yes.
And so my journey in that was like developing a secure attachment style and learning the difference between anxious attachment and secure attachment and avoidant attachment, and how to cope with the triggers when they're coming up, where it's like, if I'm feeling insecure, if I'm feeling a certain way, like, what is it inside of me that's needing love? Like, what is it inside of my inner child that wants my dad to be around, that makes me feel like I need to hold on to this man who is not my dad, and who could leave at any moment, like not in like a sad way, but like that's his right, like I am not in control of his life, I'm not in control of our story, like I'm grateful and honored to be in a place where we get to be together. And I know that in order for us to continue to be, like, we have a crazy story. You guys will definitely hear more about my plans that I have upcoming, but just getting to embody this energy of trust inside of myself has unlocked a level of like bliss inside of my relationships with other women, with my mentors, with my partner, because I know that like it's not about me. Like the relationship is about us, like they are all them and I am all me, and I support our individual growth as individuals, because that is the way that we create community. That's the way that we come together. That's the way that we love each other effortlessly without trying to like, I think that that's one of the things that I see that's just like so near and dear to my heart, is that people really struggle with conflict resolution. They really struggle to come back together after they've had like some kind of slight happen, right? Like a disagreement or a trigger or something come up. We don't really know, at least like in America and the way that I've been raised, we don't really know how to come back together after that. And so it's been so powerful to learn these tools from you that teach me like how to regulate my nervous system, that teach me how to have that conflict resolution conversation where it's not about having my point be heard and I have to fight for it. It's like, let me hear you and let you hear me, and let's have reciprocity there. It's just been mind-blowing the way that liberating myself from the judgment of everybody else and really embracing my own power and knowing deep down, knowing that I'm good, has totally transformed my health, my relationships, my friendships, everything. It's been beautiful, and that's what I do in my personal work. I am a feminine empowerment like mentor and an intuition coach, because I've done a lot of intuitive readings, and tarot and stuff like that is kind of my specialty. So I help women really embrace their own gifts, their own power, and I help them when triggers come up that make them feel really insecure, and I help them when there's that pattern inside of their mind that tells them over and over again, like, I'm not good enough, or I have to worry about my leg hair. Girl, you don't have to worry about your leg hair. Like, if you want leg hair, awesome. If you don't, awesome. Like, I am here to be kind of I don't even think I'm holding their hand. I think I'm just like holding a torch and walking beside them as they go through this period of transformation. And I'm a pillar reminding people that they know what to do. Like, you know. You just need the tools. You just need the support and the validation that you know.
Yeah. Like I said, you're such a shining, authentic, gorgeous, full of energy, full of love, full of life, full of laughter. Do we need more laughter in this world? Yes. So, yeah. And the other thing is, there are a lot of heavy emotions that we have all accumulated, but often in many healing circles, there is this heaviness and this, so there is a lot of that. We release a lot of energy, but you can also transform through laughter, through joy. It doesn't have to be suffering.
Well, I heard that recently too in some of the classes that I'm taking, where it's like there's this idea that like spirituality and your spiritual connection is rooted in suffering. Like, you have to be poor, you have to be like all the ways of service, you have to like climb the mountain barefoot and come back and do all the things, and that isn't true. That isn't the modern way of being spiritual. The modern way of being spiritual is to alleviate as much human suffering as possible, and you are part of humanity. So in serving your own healing, you are serving the greater good of the entire collective.
Yes, yes. And you know, the other thing about the suffering and the mountain is that we really have been living in a more masculine way. And now the feminine is also coming up, and we are saying, hey, you can heal through love, you can heal through pleasure. Let's stretch a little bit more again. You can heal through feeling your body, loving your body. So yes, oh, that
hair flip,
that's hair
it's just
flip.
so good.
Yeah. So we, with this, are giving you permission to flip your hair.
Yes.
To kind of be yourself, to laugh and enjoy, and you know, be your own style. Because sometimes now we see, and something doesn't resonate with us. Well, don't do it like us. Do it like you.
Yeah.
And be yourself, and everyone is celebrated. Just be you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so true. This is potent. I want to hear more about Bali. I want to hear more about the upcoming retreat. Tell me everything.
Yes, yes. So follow us. Everything is in the works. But Bali is coming in March of 2025. And
So you have lots of time to plan.
Yes, yes. So start manifesting now.
Yeah, passport.
Yes, yes. All the things will align, because Bali especially, I mean, talk about vibe. This is when I felt the vibe. You bask in total,
You can feel it coming off of you.
yes,
Like,
relaxation,
slip into it.
love, beauty, flowers everywhere. I remember collecting them in the beginning. Just, I felt like, you know, oh my God, there is not enough. And there was like everywhere flowers all the time. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to hold on to any. There is always gonna be more.
Yeah.
And that is the philosophy of life. The other thing there is that, you know, they strongly believe in karma. Basically, how you are and what you do comes back to you. So everybody is so loving and supportive and kind. They have a lot of tourists, so you know, I have figured out the touristy area, and we'll do some touristy things, like, you know, we're gonna go to the swings with the long,
The pretty dresses. Oh my
you
gosh.
know, we're gonna do the Instagram stuff and the infinity pools, but in addition to that, there is ceremony everywhere. So they pray and they are grateful every day, many times throughout the day. Every restaurant, every little corner thing has these offerings, and there is some kind of ritual, some kind of ceremony, some kind of purification, like the water purification ceremonies.
Imagine if we brought that to America.
Wow.
Like, imagine as more women and more people start going to these retreats all over the world, and they start seeing the way, because I've heard similar stories in India where it's like you walk down the street and you make eye contact with the deity. And while I don't necessarily think that we need like epithets and statues, if we had altars, if we had sacred spaces, if we intentionally as communities took time like we do on Thursdays, right, to come together and to celebrate each other, like the ripple effect that would have across a very like scared nation of people, I just think would be profound.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing that bloom, because that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're all on this spiritual quest, right? Is because we can feel on a fundamental level that there is a need for more love in the world. And if you are on this path, it's because you know that by embodying that and by learning more about that, that you are creating that. And that's just literally changing the world itself for generations to come in ways that we will not be able to experience the rewards of entirely. that will be like revolutionary, and it's not from an act of violence, it's not from this place of protest. And I definitely am for advocacy and all those things, but I also think that like the most radical act that you can do is to love yourself, is to love your neighbor, is to like show up in service when you're maybe like not getting a direct like value exchange out of it, because it's taking the value off of this like monetization currency, and it's putting value in connection, right? Like our attention span is our biggest commodity right now. And so by being able to put your intention and your attention into something that creates good, that's paradigm shifting. That literally is changing the world.
Changing the world. And never forget that you yourself, healing yourself, is the most powerful and actually only thing basically sustainable each of us can do. And as women, it's thought that when we heal ourselves, we heal the generations before us and after us. So all we need to do, imagine a world of self-loving, happy people. I mean,
well, yeah. and we get little glimpses of that inside of the women's circle. And we see the way that it carries out throughout the week, right? Because you have this re-up, this little booster that you get where you come back and you connect. And so I hope that people who are watching this find ways to go and connect with other women in women's circles, or maybe if you don't have one in your area, you find the courage to be a facilitator, right? Like, it's a trial and error process, and your experience is the, like, what is the word? Is the criteria, is the certification, is the education. Like, your life is the thing that gives you credibility to be able to lead this space. Like, being a woman, being active, being like conscious means that you have the power and ability to figure out how to hold space for other people to do the same thing. It's not like you don't need to, it's awesome to go to Bali, and if you do these things, like, you'll get opportunities where you can travel the world and further your education and understanding of yourself. But as you are right now, you have medicine, you have magic to share, and your permission that you give yourself to just let it out will be part of that wave. Yeah. Okay, so in Bali, we're gonna do deep dive healing, right? Like,
deep dive.
Get into the somatic work. There's probably gonna be, I'm imagining dance and different like breath work and like shaking and release and stuff like that. There's touristy things like the swing, and tell me a little bit more.
And of course, we're going to do the very sweet feminine stuff. So the villa.
That's my favorite part.
Yes, the villa that I reserved for us that we're going to stay, it has this huge tub. So we're going to bathe ourselves in, I don't know, we'll see about the milk, but there'll be definitely flowers. So we'll do Cleopatra or whatever it is, goddess rituals. And just, I tell you, often the place, the vibe, the group creates incredible effect. So this is what happens on retreats. That just,
I have my own, well, not my own, I'm partnering with a facilitator who's going to be hosting a retreat in February of 2025.
Okay.
Whoa, that's so cool. And it is going to be in Florida. It is a 4-day retreat. It's a women's centric retreat as well. We're going to be doing womb healing circles. We're going to be doing some ancestral work, but we're also just going to be doing embodiment work. And I'm really hoping to end up be there. I'm pretty sure that I will be, and so I'll definitely keep everybody posted with what we're developing, because I've got some great ideas for different experiences that we'll be able to participate in. And I connected with the woman who's running everything today, and she was a goddess. So so I'll be linking like opportunities for your retreats will be down in the comment section. Also your social media links so that people can connect with you. If you're in the Charlotte area, you can find information about the Big Love Yoga Barn. Whoa! Which is so cool. Look at this space. There's like the thing in the middle.
You just
it's crazy.
have to come because we don't have the little lights on.
Yeah, the lights.
But the Big Love Yoga Barn has been the start of this, and we love this space. We're building actually a new one, so you will get the link to that. But just be yourself. Be and believe in your power. And let's get up and move once
Yeah!
more. Okay.
I'll have to put like music in.
Yeah, we do need the music over here. So just wave and breathe and yes, there we are. Oh.
Wow. Oh my god.
Are we gonna do the hand?
Yes! Exactly!
Yes. Okay, we love you guys.
Oh, thank you so much.
Fabulous time.